Welcome to the Success Sensei podcast for anyone interested in success, happiness, and balance. We'll teach you how to be a black belt at life. And now, your host, former professional fighter, multiple world champion, entrepreneur, and investor, Robert Devane.
Bowing in, this is Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei, helping you to win at life one kick and punch at a time. Episode 298, Trolled, Cancelled and Blacklisted.
It's the Success Sensei podcast main event.
Trolled, Cancelled and Blacklisted. Before I get into this episode, I just want to apologise. I'm a week and a day late with last week's episode. Life has just been busy, as I'm sure it is for you as well. And at this stage, I don't think I'm going to catch up with a double episode. I thought I'd be smart and just get a double episode out this week and nobody would notice. But I don't think that's going to happen. So this is the main episode for this week and I'll be back on track next week. And it's an interesting episode. And this is a random but a true story. Take from it what you will. And at the end, we'll go over some of the lessons. I'm reading a fair bit of it. So if I do make any mistakes, I'm not going to bother editing them out. I'm just going to carry on regardless. Because I don't like to over edit any of the episodes. I like them to be more like a conversation as opposed to highly polished, produced pieces. I prefer them to be a little bit more organic, real and natural. Let's get into this, shall we? Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, there was a young man with a lot of ambition. Let's call him John. Perhaps John's ambition came from built-up frustration due to a dissatisfactory family life and seeing his parents struggle. John was driven to make things better and to build a better life. In the past, ambition in Ireland, much more so than today, was perceived as having notions about yourself, thinking you are better than others, greedy, not knowing your place, not paying your dues, trying to bypass the gatekeepers, too assertive, too aggressive, too domineering, too arrogant, cocky, self-centered and narcissistic. When not nurtured correctly or encouraged, ambition can display negative aspects. Despite this, every society needs ambitious people in every field in order to advance, develop, grow and improve. A lot of Irish people struggle with ambition. They have learned to hide their ambition or even to deny their ambition, to conceal it from others or even worse, to give up wanting anything. Ireland has been compared to a series of connected villages where those in power can keep down and control anyone who shows a bit too much initiative. Nepotism and the old boys network flourished in a more obvious way pre-internet days. Tall poppy syndrome and the Irish lobster story both come to mind, discussed in earlier episodes, but ask me if you haven't heard them. It's not a coincidence that many of our truly talented people must leave this country in order to attempt to become a success abroad, and only if that works out will they receive any recognition at home. The opportunity to have a career in Ireland may only be feasible after another country has proved their value, and at that stage there's the risk that the person is too successful to return. A big loss to Ireland. John was fully prepared to put in the hard work to chase his goals. When he came across an obstacle, he went over, under, around or through. John hated the words no and can't. This pissed off many people who didn't understand his ambition or who were intimidated and threatened by his drive. John helped empower a lot of others with his positive philosophy, but in contrast, many bridges were burnt too. Each turn, each plan, each goal, and each change in direction brought different adversity. Some of the worst adversity came from unknown sources. Sun Tzu recommends that you know your enemy. It's extremely hard to battle if you don't know your enemy. It might seem like society has softened over the past decade or two, but be under no illusion. If you wish to become an authority in any subject, you will step on toes. Some of those who are already authorities may not be impressed by your ambition. Furthermore, others who may have tried and failed, e.g. your peers or friends, might not want to see you succeed where they have fallen, as this could make them feel bad or look bad in their mind. Jealousy is alive and well today and could even be stronger than ever. It's easy to witness how jealousy can be spurred on by the perfect lifestyle projecting Insta-famous influencers, to name but a few. Even though there were goal changes, John stayed focused on chasing his goals. He abstained from alcohol and drugs and never partied too much. He dedicated himself to the pursuit of physical and mental improvement. This continued to infuriate some people, one or two of whom could have become good mentors to John. Alas, that wasn't where their mindset was at. In the earlier days of the internet, it seemed easier to be able to troll and post slanderous statements anonymously. A somewhat orchestrated online attack was launched to discredit John, his business, and his support network. The majority of those involved had never even met John, so it probably originated from a different source. John was glad that he was the one receiving their backlash instead of somebody else, because he felt strong enough to handle it. In fact, the unwarranted criticism drove him forward. It was like adding fuel to his fire. As John continued to advance, their strategy changed. Perhaps they noticed that their actions were having the opposite effect and actually motivating John to succeed in order to prove them wrong. The approach they settled on was to simply ignore John. Never to acknowledge and never to discuss John or his business or anyone connected to him. To deny his existence, including any negative posts. To delete John from the history books. John was cancelled before that term even entered public consciousness. Granted, it was by a small group within a niche market, but both that group and the niche market expanded and became more mainstream, thus multiplying the effect. John had no other option but to crawl under a rock and die. No, he didn't do that. Instead, he used the time to figure out what was really important to him, to look within to see what really mattered. Unnecessary battles take up mental space and mental energy. John continued to focus and fell in love with his newfound anonymity. It turns out that being unknown is a very valuable position. Being self-made and not being answerable to anyone or owing to anyone is an extremely powerful position. Not needing validation, acknowledgement, praise, or an ego massage is a very freeing feeling. It gives you the freedom to live as you wish and to build the lifestyle and relationships you want. John has continued to have successes and wins in various forms and away from prying eyes. Haters can't hate when they don't know what you're up to or that you're even up to anything. They might be too busy trying to survive the lives they have created for themselves. John remains defiant, his ambition has never dulled, and he is very excited about the future. You might take your own lessons from the above true story or simply think, what the hell was all that about? So here are a few of the points. First one, be ambitious. The world needs ambitious people. We love reading and watching about ambitious people, so why can't you be one of them? The next one is, being ambitious doesn't mean someone else has to lose. Your path isn't taking away from someone else's. That's in their mind. There's a space and a place for all, and that's what makes life interesting. Don't be policed by your peers. Family, friends, colleagues don't always have your best interests at heart if they are dissuading you from the best course of action for you. Don't underestimate jealousy. Just because you don't notice it, it doesn't mean it's not there or that some people won't hurt you. Timing cannot be controlled. Timing isn't up to us. It's extremely hard to predict. It's easy to take the credit when timing is in your favour, but timing is mostly luck. This is why it's impossible to copy the success paths written about in autobiographies. Play your cards and hopefully timing is on your side. Push harder. When adversity strikes, can you increase your output? Underground success. Being successful, unbeknownst to others, is a viable option. It's like giving to charity. Do you really need the acknowledgement? Fuel your fire. Be thankful for anything that gives you even stronger motivation to focus and strive for your goals. That's a totally different way of looking at negative drivers. The power of the internet. While there are many negatives to the internet, there are also so many positives. The internet can bypass the gatekeepers of old. You have a genuine opportunity to create your own fame and fortune on your own terms online. Be true to yourself. Don't sell out or lose yourself. Find out who you are and be happy in yourself. That's also the ultimate revenge. Life and people will throw many situations at you and you'll always be tested. Try to be consistent with your beliefs in all interactions. Thank you for listening. I'm Roundhouse Rob, the Success Sensei. Life is a fight you can enjoy and win. Bowing out.
This has been the Success Sensei, fighting the winning fight. So add us, subscribe, like, and comment. Keep those hands up and keep moving forward.